Okay, what's up guys? Dan Cohan here. Just wanted to shoot a quick vlog style video. I know the video quality may not be the best, but I felt like the information was gonna be super great. So I'm here standing in front of my new triplex that I just got a few weeks ago. And I just wanted to tell you how I just got this triplex for free. No money out of pocket after about 2 weeks of owning it. Okay, now let me explain how I just did this. So, how I got this triplex was very simply. This is actually my first totally off-market deal. Nobody else involved but me and the seller, no wholesalers, anything. What I did is I went and I was just, this triplex is literally like a minute away, or like a block away from where I work every day, and I drive down the street every day. I happened to find a for rent sign. There was a for rent sign in the yard, right? And so I'm like, I always call all the for rent signs that I see in my area because for a couple of reasons. One, and the most useful reason every day to day is you can find out what things are renting for, which is helpful when you have rentals, so you know what competitive prices is in your area. But secondly, I'm always asking to see if people are willing to sell their property. So I called a sign, and this older gentleman picks up the phone. He says, "Oh, my wife handles this." So he has me call his wife, and I call her and I ask her about the unit, kind of posing as a prospective renter. And then I finally, transition to, she tells me it's renting for, $400 a month, right? Is what she wants to get, and when I heard that, I immediately was like, this is a very good value add opportunity, because $400 a month for this thing in my area is like almost half what it should be renting for. So these are 3 units. They are, we'll walk through one here, but they are studio units. So they are not very big, only 450 square foot, the 1 bathroom, and they didn't have kitchens. This was a commercial property. It's on a business street. Not very busy, but they were for commercial use. But the owner owned it for about 20 years and eventually basically rented them all out as residential. So didn't have kitchens, but my plan, and I have just done this, is actually install kitchens in every unit and turn it into a proper residential property. So what I did, back to my story, is I asked her, have you ever considered selling? And this is a great way to very low pressure, prod an owner or property owner or manager if they've ever considered selling. And she's like, actually we had a private listing, and for, I think she said $150,000 or $160,000, and she said, yeah, we did have a listing, but we didn't do anything with it. And so I'm like, this is fantastic. So the price, even at 160, I did some quick math. Each unit here should rent for around $700 a month. So that's $2,100 a month. Just using the 1% rule, 2,100 equals 210,000. She wants 160, right? So instantly, I'm like, I need to come see this now, right? And when can I come see it? So the next day we scheduled a showing for the noon the next day. I come see the property, walk the units, and basically I think she wanted 150 actually, and I think what we did is it only took me about 20 minutes. It's very simple, very small. Everything looked super clean, super good, turnkey, and I was like, I wanted to land at about 140 or maybe 140 and change would be the ideal price. And her price already was really good, but you always want to try to negotiate a little bit more. If you're on an off-market deal. Now, if you're doing something like MLS or something like that, where you have competitors in this environment, you probably want to offer your highest and best first, because it's pretty much the only way you're even going to get in the door. So I offered her, there's a tactic that is commonly practiced with amateur negotiators and most people, and it's called midpoint negotiation. So I offered her, my target was to get to 140, and hers was at 150, right? So I offered her 130, okay? So we both would compromise a bit and go down 10,000, and I'd go up 10,000, and we'd land at 140. So we agreed on a 140 purchase price. And this whole interaction took about, the negotiations took about 5 minutes, right? It was not that hard, not that complicated. People make buying real estate way more complicated than it really is. It's literally just like buying anything else, all right? There's just a few more documenting steps involved, okay? We negotiated and settled on the price of 140, and I had in my possession a contract for a sales contract for real estate. I put the address already in there. We wrote it up, and you can call your title company, or you can download your local real estate sales contract and use that. I actually just wanted the one-page contract. There's only like a few things you need on a contract. That's a subject for another video. It's super simple, but ask any title company. They'll tell you what they need in order to process the transaction. Okay, so I signed it up, and at that point it was under contract. So we set a close date about 30 days out, which make sure you're being pretty conservative with your close dates, especially right now, as appraisals can take a while. And our transaction actually did get delayed a ton, but for different reasons. But basically, so I got it under contract. It's now under contract at a killer price, $140. Just using the 1% rule, the place should be worth, $210 with the kitchens installed and the rents raised, right? So that is $70,000. So we settled at $142,800, and this is the tactic for you. Now with commercial, it's a little different. But you can still do this. As I negotiated $142,280,000, right? So like $2,800 purchase price of $142,800, I guess. And then what she was paying $2,800 in closing costs, right? So I'm basically financing in the closing costs and having a little bit less money out of pocket. So with that, I went to the bank, and long story short, there's a whole process of trying to get the loans and things like that, but eventually got with the banker and did a 20% down, 20-year AM, 5-year term. Okay, so basically I had to put 20% down, which of the $142,800 was about 28 grand. Okay, now the kitchens are going to cost about, I would say maybe, $7,500, $8,000, right? So put it together, it's probably going to be right around $37,000. Okay, let's just say $37,000 into the deal, and this is for turnkey units that are renting at really good rates. Okay, so that was just a couple weeks ago. So I got the place appraised for the loan. All right, my purchase price was $142. And so I got it appraised to get the loan, and they appraised it at $187,000 as completed. All right, so that's $45,000 difference from what I purchased it as and what the appraiser said it would sell for today, which I know that even that it would sell for a lot more just due to the rents. Okay, but that's what the appraisal value is, and that's what the bank will lend on. So what I did is went ahead and closed the deal. And put the 20% down for that loan. Now what I just did is I got the kitchens installed they started basically the week after I closed. And now that it's complete, the bank then goes in, sends the appraiser in, and he says, okay, great, it has kitchens. He rubber stamps it. It is now worth $187,000. So I go back to Mr. Banker and say, hey, it's now worth $187,000. Now the bank can lend 80% of that value. So I have the original loan amount, which is about $114,000. Now the new 80% loan to value for the 187 is a lot higher. And the difference in that and the 114 loan amount that I have is about just over $35,000. So he's going to go ahead and give me a $35,000 line of credit on this property, right? And what that means is he's giving me essentially $35,000 cash that I can use anytime at an interest rate of 4.25% against this property. Okay, so that I don't have to pay interest on that unless I use the money, but that is basically as good as cash money to go buy more real estate, do flips, do whatever I want with. And so that's how I spent about $7,000, and 2 weeks later, I am able to pull in cash $35,000, okay, at basically free prices at 4% interest only. All right, that is super cheap if you're in real estate, understand hard money, things like that. So that is how I have gotten a basically zero money free triplex out of pocket, just by calling a for rent sign and doing some negotiation and doing a little value add and so on and so forth. So if you want to get into real estate, or if you're looking to get more tips and knowledge like this and follow me on my real estate journey, go ahead and subscribe down below. Like this video if you liked, and I will see you guys in the next chapter.